And hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pumpkin Copter Cast, the only video game
Hello.
show. And today I am joined by Lily of Kinkymation, and we're going to be interviewing her about all manners of video game stuff.
Well, hello. It's a pleasure to be here. As you guys know, if anybody's ever seen my stream, avid gamer. Sometimes not great, but avid.
Yep, and let's see, before we get the interview proper, I have a game I like to play. Today we're going to be with Lily. We're going to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls, and because the two things those franchises have in common is that both of them have characters that have names that sound like what a dictionary melted.
Yes, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Fun
So.
fact, I was actually not allowed as a kid to even watch Yu-Gi-Oh because I'm Mexican, right? So there was a
Mm-hmm.
big stint in the '90s where anime was the devil, and
Uh-huh.
my mom kind of believed that. So I didn't actually play Pokemon until very recently and stuff like that because of that. So
I mean, if Pokemon now existed back then, people would probably be freaking out when they realize that God is a non-binary horse.
yeah, no, my mom saw a billboard for Scarvaio and she was like, "I do not like that." I was like, bet.
Okay, so give three guesses, and you're gonna try and figure out if these are Yu-Gi-Oh monsters or Dark Souls bosses.
Oh, I'm gonna fail miserably. Okay, let's do it.
Oh, you'd be surprised. They all sound like nonsense. Let's see. Which one sounds like a name that people would know? All right. Let's see. The first one is Earthbound Immortal Chaku Cholua, Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls.
Earthbound Immortal, Shugio Chaluga. I'm gonna say Yu-Gi-Oh.
That is correct. Is
Hell yeah.
one of the monsters from Yu-Gi-Oh 5D is also known as the one with card games on motorcycles. Or if you know me, it's like one of the things I will not shut the hell up about.
Yu-Gi-Oh is wild. I've seen some of the cards and it gets pretty crazy up there.
I mean, if you this Lily, think about all the entertainment you've been exposed to from the beginning of your life to now, and there's a good chance it has been made card games of it.
I mean, real talk, I used to have the Neopets trading card game when I was a kid, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean,
Not Yu-Gi-Oh! Not that one. That one's the devil, but Neopets is fine.
there is. There is an entire series of cards that is either Star Wars, Wizard of Oz, or Star Wars fused with Wizard of Oz.
Man,
So,
card games.
try and imagine the Wicked Witch of the West wielding a lightsaber. It's friggin' bonkers.
I think that sounds hilarious, and I would actually like to draw that.
Wait, hold on. That's actual. Let me just find that picture because it's a real.
Oh, there's actual artwork of this.
It's yeah. Let's see. It is. I'll just put it in the
Oh, I
chat right
love
there.
that. Oh, I love that. Hell yeah.
All right. Let's see. The next one. Let's see. The second of the three is Ebrietas, Daughter of the Cosmos, Yu-Gi-Oh
Oh,
or Dark Souls.
Bloodborne. That is
Yep.
actually the name of my dog.
Oh. Oh dang.
I have a French bulldog named Ebrietas because she looks like it.
Huh. I have commissioned fan art of the Orphan of Kos with me right now, so I guess I understand kinda, but I've never known anyone to name an animal after a pet or after that.
After
So
a
yeah.
soul, after a Souls game. Yeah, well, I mean, I love Bloodborne. It's amazing. It's actually a game I have yet to completely finish because I didn't have a PlayStation 4 with me. Now I do. Uh, and It's one of my favorite things. And when I was getting a dog, I was like, what am I gonna name this fucking puppy that looks like a bag of wrinkles? I was like, you know what? Fucking Bloodborne boss. Debrietas. Go for it.
Okay. Let's see, and the last one. Let's see if I can find one with a hilarious enough name. Let's see. Crimson Knight Vampire Braum, Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls.
I'm gonna call Yu-Gi-Oh on that one.
Yep, is because there's an entire series of cards based off of not just vampires, but like Castlevania vampires.
Oh, I love that.
So if you,
In before my fucking community comes in here, like, bullshit, you did not get all of those right. It's like, they know me.
I mean,
According to them, my luck stat is busted, so I tend to stumble my way into the right answer.
yeah, it's basically this guy looks like Alucard from like the Netflix Castlevania, but decked out in
God,
like
yes.
the most purple armor you've ever done seen.
I mean, that sounds dope.
Yeah. And that is the end of this particular round of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Dark Souls. And now we can move.
Lily wins!
Yeah! And now we can move on to the meat and potatoes of why we're here. So, Lily, how about we start with an introduction of you and what the gaming side of your life is all about?
Oh, sure, gladly. So, I'm Lily, Kinkymation to a lot of people. Primarily illustrator. I am an artist. But I also really love video games. And I had a dilemma, you could say, back in the day, where it was I have no time to play any video games ever. It was incredibly frustrating, incredibly annoying, because I need to play games, I need to consume media for my job.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided, in all of my Lily wisdom, why not just start streaming what I'm playing, and that way I can get my playtime in, and I can also make it a part of my streaming rotation, because I used to stream art mostly.
Mm-hmm.
But I started doing it, and then I actually set up this little VTuber that I had here, and I started changing my outfits for every game, and I just started having a really nice time. And whenever I want to play a game because I want to draw something, I generally decide to stream it. I have about 3 games at once that I'm streaming. Right now I'm working with Pikmin 4, Final Fantasy 16, and Elden Ring, which I've been playing for like 3 to 4 months. It's a lot. And generally, yeah, I play a few games at once. I try and always play a little bit of a game every day, even if it's something stupid like right now I'm really into Blue Archive. It's a gacha, but like it's still fun as fuck. Really
Mm-hmm.
nice characters. Or if I'm just dicking around on my Switch and in my free time, I just try and play a little bit of a video game every day because it's such a fun way to consume content that I don't think there's anything quite like it.
Okay. And like, so when you created your VTuber, is it just because, I mean, basing off of the previous VTuber I had on the show, do you feel like it's just like having the VTuber setup would just be easier than just like camera, because, or what?
It's much easier. Like, there's a bunch of reasons why I started using the VTuber in the first place. The first is face cams can sometimes be a pain in the ass to set up, especially if you're playing a video game. A lot of the
Mm.
times, you're not really going to be able to be interacting with your chat in the same way. I can't make eye contact with my chat at all times, for obvious reasons if I'm playing a game. The second is, I am a woman. That usually means that if I want to be on camera, I'm at least going to have to put a little bit of makeup on, and it's a bit of a drag, honestly. Having my VTuber kind of allows me a little bit more freedom when it comes to expressions, as well as not having to put a whole lot of hoopla into my appearance, so I can
Mm-hmm.
focus on the important thing, which is the game.
Okay, and like, at what time in your life were you first like introduced to like video games as like a thing that you can like spend your time with?
My earliest memory of video games, it was before I even had my first console myself. It was playing, I think it was Ocarina of Time, at a friend's house. I was like 7 to 8 years old, and ran into some Redeads nightmares too.
Oh
But
dear.
it was very fun though, and I
Mm-hmm.
distinctly remember thinking, I wish I had something like this in my house. And then when I was like 9, my family moved to the States for work. I didn't want to go at all. And my father decided, in all of his fucking fatherly wisdom, to bribe me with a GameCube and a Game Boy Advance. Which, obviously, little baby Lily was like, yes, gimme. And my first actual video game that I played entirely by myself was Super Mario Sunshine. And I think which one? What was it called? I think it was Super Mario 2 or 3. The one where you throw vegetables. The Game Boy Advance version. I know the
Yeah,
actual game is
Super Mario
controller.
Bros. 2, the one that's like
Yes.
actuality
Fun
or
as hell.
Doki Doki Panic. No, not Doki.
Never beat it.
Yeah.
Never fucking beat it. But it was still one of the first video games I ever had, and I remember it very vividly. And I always liked gaming, really. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
stopped playing through middle and high school because school was busy. I spent more time drawing when I had free time, but I still really liked it. I had like a Wii, did not get a Wii U. I had a big pause in consoles, and
Mm-hmm.
now that I know, like, I was a Nintendo baby, dead ass. And now that I know that so much other stuff exists, I have a pretty decked out gaming PC. I have a PS5. I have my Switch. The only thing I don't really own, because again I have a pretty decked out PC, is an Xbox. Really,
Hmm. Uh, you mentioned in the GameCube because that was like the first console that was ever really mine, and the first game I played was Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door.
oh, so many good memories of that game.
Yep.
Yeah, like my first actual video game that I beat on my own was Sunshine, I believe. And no, my first actual video game that I beat by myself was Nightmare in Dreamland, but I did beat Sunshine as well on the GameCube.
Kirby. Wait till you, if you haven't already, wait till you play Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
I haven't yet. I played Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which was a lovely time.
Mm-hmm.
But I have yet to play Forgotten Land, and it is on my list of things I want to check out. Because I do want to stream it. Like, Kirby games are generally a pretty fun time.
Yeah. Um, and what would you say was like? I know you said Sunshine was like one of the very first games you beat on your own, but what would you say is like was your most favoriteest game when like growing up?
Tales of Symphonia, easy. Tales of Symphonia and Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga are two video games that I think I could easily call my favorites.
Oh
One of
yeah,
them was for the Game Boy, the other one was for the GameCube itself.
yeah. And I'm not sure how like easy it is to find nowadays, but before the 3DS like stopped production, they actually did a whole remake of Superstar Saga using the
I
sort of
remember that.
the
I
graphical
do remember that
goodness
they did.
that when they like made it all 3D-ish.
I don't know if that's the version that they put into the Switch Online system right now. I don't think so. I think it's the classic version, but I actually don't own the 3DS version of Superstar Saga because I already had the original. I still have it in
Hmm.
my house somewhere, I think.
Oh. I mean, if they ever port it to if they hopefully someday they will, but if they ever port it to the Switch, like wait till you check out Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, where it proves that Mario, the 3D Mario, and Paper Mario are two separate guys. That would have.
I mean, Paper Mario for me, it's one of my favorite things.
Hmm.
Like, The Thousand Year Door is one of my favorite games also. I did beat it, but I would love to replay it with my chat on stream just because it's such a good time. Although, whenever I mention Paper Mario, at least one person in my chat pops off about how Sticker Star is the worst thing in the universe.
I mean, I got it for a birthday present a while back, and like back in the ancient year of 2012, and like I thoroughly enjoyed it, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I can understand Thousand Year Door. It's got everything. It's got, a sassy archaeologist who may or may not have a crush on Best Girl Vivian. It's got a turtle with anxiety. It's got
Me.
Madame Flurry.
Oh, Madame Flurry's great. The entire cast of
Oh,
Thousand Year
yeah.
Door is great, and it's really sad that we won't get stuff like that anymore because Father Shiggy decided that you can no longer have characters that are like Toads or Goomba and stuff that have unique traits.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Literally, all the characters that aren't Mario or characters specifically designed for the game have to be just a normal Toad.
I mean, maybe the remaster of Mario RPG might change that a little bit. Hopefully,
I'm
fingers
hoping it
crossed.
will. I'm hoping it will. Despite the fact that Alpha Dream is gone, I'm
Yeah.
hoping that the RPG's remake will inspire a new wave of Mario and Luigi RPG games similar to Superstar Saga. Hopefully it does. It was a really a shame that Alpha Dream had to go because they made some of the best stuff.
Yeah. Uh, and so, what game would you say, what game or games would you say is your most favorite now in the present times?
Now, well, I actually have a real soft spot for FromSoft games. I mean, obviously, look at my dog.
Mm-hmm.
But I think right now, if you ask me what my favorite games is, there's like three. I would say Elden Ring is pretty up there. Um, Also, I do play Final Fantasy 14 a fair amount. Very much enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
And 16, Final Fantasy 16 has so far blown me away with how beautiful it is and how compelling the story has been so far. I haven't finished it yet, so nobody spoil me, please. But uh, it's still a fantastic piece of media.
Yeah. I mean, if I could play like any other FromSoft games without being just like hopeless about at them, I would. Uh, just because
It
if
would really be nice if they finally ported Bloodborne out somewhere that wasn't the PS4.
yeah, maybe if I ever beat it, I'll be able to show off, have an excuse to show off this fan art I commissioned someone to make where the Orphan of Kos and his new big sister Little Debbie, as in the snack cake mascot girl. Um. So yeah, so I mean, recently on your channel, you celebrated like 1 year and like at this point over 100 videos. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, we've hit 100 YouTube videos, actually. It was pretty surprising. I wasn't expecting to hit that milestone so quickly.
and like, at what point when you started streaming that you realized that this is like a thing? Just when did it like become a thing for you? Like, what was there a game, or is it just kind of like a gradual build up?
It was a gradual build up because I'd been streaming for a while, but I mostly streamed art. But like once I started streaming Final Fantasy 14 because I had to. I have this thing where I refuse to draw a character if I've never actually consumed the media for it, and I had to fucking be. Apologies, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear or not. Sorry. I had to be up to at least Shadowbringers, which is the third or fourth expansion in the franchise, and I decided to stream it because I thought it would be funnier that way, and I was right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just gradually started streaming, having the chat on. At first, it was just my community, but now it's grown significantly. Like I recently made partner as well, which was a shocker because I'd applied many times before and I had never been accepted till now. And through playing 14, I realized, you know what? I think I'd like to play every video game that I want to work with or that I just want to hang out and have a good time with my chat. And it took me a little bit to get like my VTuber done because at first it was just like a silly PNG I had.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had a different art style, and now this one, I'm actually like mid rebrand on this one. I have another character that I'm working on. To actually make a fully fleshed VTuber for because this it started out as a bit of a stand-in. This is an OC
Mm-hmm.
I have called Paulina. It's not actually like me, but since she does resemble me, I figured I'd use it. But it was a gradual thing that kind of just spiraled into part of my day that I really look forward to. It's 3 hours that I get to just relax, play some video games, and sow chaos with my chat.
Yeah. Uh, um. So like recently started playing, the remake of Resident Evil 4, and like, have you played any of like the more, I mean, recent? I'd say like beginning with like Resident Evil 7. Have you like play because that is what convinced me to like become a huge fan of the genre, and now I own like 7, 8, and like all the remakes. And have you played any of like 7, 8, or the other remakes, and
I'm very familiar with the story for Resident Evil 7, but I've
mm-hmm.
never actually played it because I am a wuss. Scary games take
uh
away my lifespan, okay? So playing the RE4 remake, the main reason I decided to do it was because my chat convinced me that yes, sure, it has scary things in it, but you also get a gun. And that
mm-hmm.
was enough to sway me into actually trying it. But I do like horror. I love horror. I can't play it because I'm a big baby, but I do like it a lot. I especially really liked the story for Resident Evil 7 and 8. I watched the Scary Game Squad, which is just Jesse Cox and his friends
Mm-hmm.
play through that one, and I was like, this is super fun actually. I can't play this. I think I would have a stroke, but I ended up playing the RE4 remake, and now my chat is very slowly trying to talk me into playing the RE2 remake, which I think that one's a little scarier, but I could still give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, if you play it on the PC, I would like suggest download the mod that plays X gonna give it to you whenever Mr. X shows up.
Oh God, my chat would probably demand that, but I actually, I might be one of like the three people in the universe that doesn't particularly like using mods if I'm experiencing a game for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I very firmly believe that I want to see the devs, designers, and directors' vision as they thought of it before I start throwing any mods in there. Like I only really use mods for games like Minecraft and Terraria because those are stuff that add quality of life things as opposed to changing the game itself.
Oh yeah. I'm with you there on being a wuss for horror because it took me like almost an entire calendar year to play through Resident Evil 7.
It is scary. Like sometimes, like having a chat there, it helps. It really does because they either goad you into it, they make fun of you into it, or they encourage you into it. So I think that if I'm going to play a horror game again, I have to stream it. I can't do it by myself.
Yep. And I mean, like, has any of your chat ever demanded you play like through Resident Evil 8 just because of giant 9 foot tall vampire mom?
No, but I have drawn giant 9 foot tall vampire mom. She was fun to work with, to say the least. But I mean, I think if I played Resident Evil 8, it would just be me literally following her around because Ethan's head is at like butt height,
No.
and I'm all about that. I'm all about that. So yeah, no, like they actually haven't told me to play 8. Like I get a lot of people asking me if I'm going to check out certain games, but like Resident Evil hasn't really been one that they've incessantly asked me to play. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm considering maybe the RE2 remake if I play like something spooky in October because you know Halloween. But really, I'm trying to stick to current game releases, which is difficult because there's so many games coming out every month. Like it's
Yes.
almost impossible to keep up with it.
Uh, yeah. Know that feeling. I've to keep myself from just losing it, and there's just something to keep me from like legitimately losing my mind during like the early days of the pandemic. I've been making lists of games and only play games on that list, and even though I like go through games fairly quickly, I'm like, oh right, Pikmin 4 comes out, and then the Sonic the Hedgehog like Origins collection, and like oh so many other things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh.
it's really a case of too many video games, too little time.
Mhm. And has there ever been a game that your like community has suggested for you, but you don't know a lot about, and then like the minute you just like boot it up and start playing, you just like are looking at your chat and be like, I know why you bastards made me want to play this.
Um, One in particular, called Neon White. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've seen
But
like the first like video like you
yeah, I
uploaded.
have a full Let's Play up there. But Neon White was a funny case because I saw it initially when it was announced, and I was like, I mean, aesthetically this looks cool, but I don't know if I'd be into it. And then The basically one of my friends who also happens to be the guy who helps me write for my Pokemon project
Mm-hmm.
commissioned me something from the game, and since he knows for a fact that I don't draw characters that I've never experienced the media for, he was just like, I'm gonna level with you, Lily. I literally just want you to play Neon White. And so I had him on as a co-host, and when I started playing it, 3 seconds in, I was like, oh, I know exactly why you wanted me to play this. Well played. Because the writing and the characters were right up my alley.
Mm-hmm. And like I've also seen, like, you mentioned, like, not doing art of characters you're not familiar with. I remember because you also said that on your like most recent Pokemon's Reacts video.
Yes, I
Where,
did, which a lot of people asked me to draw ex waifu as soon as she comes out, and as much as I would love to do that,
mm-hmm.
I refuse because I have been fucked over by context in the past. For example, I've made a lot of art of Palutena, and I completely mischaracterized her, and I felt awful about it. And since then, I'm like, if I don't know this character, I'm at least not going to make anything that requires me to put out a narrative because I do make a lot of comics, and for stuff like that, I need full context. Like, if I'm gonna just make something like a little pin-up-y picture, something cute, then it's fine. I don't really need to know everything. But since most of the work that I do is very narrative-heavy, I
Mm-hmm.
decided that it's better if I consume the media before I draw the thing.
Yep. I actually remember something similar to that because when Scarlet and Violet was, first released, everyone saw Grusha from Scarlet and Violet, the Ice Gem later, and be like, "Oh, what a pretty lady!" And then
Nope, not a lady.
and then everyone was like,
Guy.
and then several dudes realized that they were probably gay.
I
And
mean, I've always found that funny, right? For me, the biggest context thing, I'm surprised you didn't say the professors in Scarvio. Because when the game was first announced, I
mm-hmm.
saw so much art of Professor Sada, and I was like, I'm gonna wait, and I'm glad I did. I'm so glad I did. I'm not gonna spoil Scarvio for everyone, but there's a specifically good reason as to why I have never drawn the professors ever,
Mm-hmm.
and I probably won't.
So
And it's because the context does not allow me to.
I mean, that's as good as reason as any. So like of all the Pokemon games you've played, what has been like your favorite region?
I mean, believe it or not, despite me working on a pretty extensive Pokemon project, I
Hmm.
didn't actually start playing Pokemon until what, 2017, 2018. I spent most of my life not really knowing much about Pokemon. I will say this, I did enjoy Paldea as a region. My family is from Spain, and I think that they actually made the region fairly accurate. I really like the Johto region in general. It's beautiful. The more traditional Japanese aesthetics make me very happy. It's the current region that I'm working with now in
Hmm.
my actual Pokemon project. I think that one's my favorite, but I still have a lot of regions I haven't experienced. So until I get to see all of them, I can't really say if I have a favorite or not. But right now, Johto is pretty close.
Yeah. My favorite would probably be Kalos, which is Pokemon France, just because it was the first Pokemon game I ever played all the way through, and it was when they went from like full sprite work to like 3D models, and as someone
That was
who's
Gen 6, right?
yep.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember people going like, "Oh my god, it's in 3D now," and I was just sitting in. 'Cause I was in college by then. I was just sitting there like, What's the big idea? Why is that such a huge deal? I don't get it."
And yeah, and I know you like mentioned like just now and on some of your videos about like Paldea being like reasonably accurate Pokemon France, because there's actually, because when up to its release there's actually another like YouTuber who specializes in Pokemon stuff. I think Poke Raffi, who like was like positively over the moon that it was Spain but Pokemon. And
Spain is a fantastic region to use because, like Galar, which I think is the UK and
yeah.
surrounding areas, it was very well made from what I've seen of it. I have to play Sword and Shield to actually get an accurate view, but Paldea legitimately looks like so many areas of Spain. like you can tell that the main city is modeled after Barcelona, but so many like little villages, the plains, the mountainous areas, they really do resemble the country. And I think that it's nice that the Pokemon team actually probably did their research before they started designing the map for the place.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
mean, I've always joked that Game Freak has like 7 employees, so one of them probably flew out or looked at pictures on Google. I don't know.
yeah, and let's see, is there a character in the is there a character like in the of the Pokemon games you've played so far that you're just like, oh, this is the best character ever, or oh, this is my hypothetical child, back off, I will fight you?
I will say Arvin is such a well-written character, and I think really in terms of writing, Scarvio has been the best written Pokemon game that I have played personally to date. I don't know if other Pokemon fans will disagree on me, but for a Pokemon game to actually bring me to tears was definitely unexpected, and Arvin was a big reason for that. Honestly, the game, if it wasn't for the fact that you are the MC, it's Arvin's game, it's Arvin's story,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like they really utilized that and made the character just so heartwarming. Like Nimona's great too, I love her, but the one that I would say is so a character that I'm more attached to, or that I'm like, please protect this idiot boy for the rest of his days, it's Arvin.
Yep. I mean, with that in mind, wait till you get to someday play through like Pokemon. Wait till you meet Hop in Pokemon Sun and Moon and Pokemon Hawaii. You'll have
I've been
those
told that I'm
similar
gonna like. I've
thoughts.
been told that I'm gonna like Lily, my namesake, in because I hear that she's a very sweet character.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she is.
Like, I like her mom though. I mean, I've always been of the mentality of if evil, why hot? But yes,
I mean, that's the problem that many people have faced with Tears of the Kingdom now being the new freshness.
I mean, Ganon Daddy, thank you.
Yep. Ganon Daddy with a voice, which is something
Oh, the
I
voice
didn't.
was spectacular. Yeah, I
Oh
finished the
yeah.
game recently, and it
Oh
was.
yep.
While I do have my qualms with it, for the most part, it was pretty solid, and it was really good. Definitely a solid contender for Game of the Year.
The ending. Pretty sure the very ending, either brought me to tears or came damn close.
I mean, in the ending, I didn't want to fucking like ruin the moment, but like, part of me wanted to see what would happen if I just did nothing. You know the scene, but like the game actually, I looked it up. It won't let you. Like, it will always push you, if not to the cutscene, to actually do the thing you're supposed to do. I didn't do it on stream because I was really hyped and it was like in the moment and the song was amazing and everybody was screaming. But part of me was like, what happens if you don't do the thing that the
Mm-hmm.
game asks you to do? Can she die?
Oh
But no,
yeah.
apparently the game just doesn't allow it.
And without wishing to spoil that moment that you're talking about, I actually like apparent from what I've found out, like the music that plays at that specific moment when he gets her, it's actually the soundtrack song is actually called "Not This Time," and I was like, oh
It's
come on.
not this time, player. You know what I found was funny was they actually removed a lot of Link's armor for that scene, and I think the
Mm-hmm.
reason for that is because they didn't want to have a moment like at the ending of Breath of the Wild where Zelda's like, "Do you remember me?" and then she just turns around, and Link is like shirtless with a goblin mask, like stupid. So they legitimately took off all of Link's armor for that scene, which I think was, pretty smart, Nintendo, pretty smart, because like all of us play like goblins, and you might be wearing armor that is not very becoming of a hero.
Oh, that's certainly true when I played it for most of the time.
Yeah, like very nice decisions on Nintendo's part when it came to Tears of the Kingdom.
So I know you said you played this in order to get like material for your job, but aside from that, like what other sort of criteria do you use to decide like what game you're gonna play for when you're streaming?
Well, there's a bunch of stuff that I look for. Like, I also like to kind of keep up to date with releases. So even if it's a game, for example, like I'm never gonna work with like a Kirby. I would never loot a Kirby, for example. But Forgotten Land comes out, if they say if it was coming out right now, and it's been hyped and it looks like a lot of fun, I take that into consideration as well. Whenever I'm picking a game, I try and pick something that would be fun to play,
Mm-hmm.
and also recent releases also have priority because everybody's talking about it, everybody wants to play it, and that way everybody's kind of on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And just how much fun it's going to be in general. While my work is a big part of what games I choose to play, sometimes it's fine to just play a video game because it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, the best reason, really. And so, as video games like gotten better, I mean, most video game companies are a mess, but that's like common knowledge by now. Just like,
It's funny because whenever people say that video game companies are a mess, they mean Western companies, and they
oh,
mean
yeah, that's true.
the big AAA studios, except Nintendo, because everybody always leaves Nintendo as like the people who I hear saying like video games are dying. It's usually people who play like only Call of Duty, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that video games are not dying. I think it's a
mm-hmm.
medium that's constantly evolving and changing. And the thing that is becoming very apparent is that we gotta trust in our indies and keep pushing the AAA studios to stop doing such scummy things. Like Blizzard comes to mind a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even say that name without at least one person in my Discord server or in my chat being like, ugh, Blizzard. So yeah, just fix that. Fix yourselves.
I mean, something I've noticed as I've gotten older and I've actually have the capacity to perceive the world around me better is that, I mean, it's like media is far from perfect. We all know this, but I have noticed that, a lot of, well, not all, but a lot of different like forms of representation have gotten better. Like, something that surprised me is that in Borderlands 3, where I fully expected them to use the bury your gaze trope, is not only does that not happen, but you essentially you unbury the gay as quickly as possible because it's Borderlands and you shoot whatever's trying to hurt your friends in the face. And what I'm trying to get at with that, semi-coherent rambling, Lily, is has there been a moment in video games of representation of any kind that has like really resonated with you personally?
Yes, actually, I was playing Final Fantasy 16 this week,
Mm-hmm.
and character that I don't know if it's going to be in our party member or an important character rather has a very casual moment with their partner. Like you guys know, if anybody knows Dion, like just kisses another dude, boyfriend, just very casually. Very, it wasn't like hammed in. It wasn't like I am Dion and I am homosexual. No, he was just having a nice, intimate moment with his partner,
Mm-hmm.
having a conversation, and I thought that was amazing because for a Japanese studio to allow this, let alone publish it, is unprecedented. Like I know for a fact that the game is banned in Saudi Arabia because of this, but you know what? Fuck that noise. I
Yeah.
think it's great. Like, it wasn't shoved in your face. It was a great moment to just show a little bit more about the character. It wasn't like I am gay and this is my entire personality. More just like, oh, I am the prince of this empire, and I happen to be have a partner that's a dude, which I thought was great.
Yeah. Um, I mean, if you ever do like a Pride centric stream during Pride Month, if I may make a suggestion, just because like I know three of the people who once worked on it, and if you want a game that's pretty chill compared to some of the tougher releases, and your fans are craving something from a few years ago, I would suggest looking up 2064 Read Only Memories. Because,
Okay. I
yeah.
mean, I'm bisexual myself, so
Hmm.
yeah, like I think that representation like this in media really matters, especially in video games. Because I don't know why everyone is so afraid of the gay. It's always just kind of baffled me, you know.
I mean, I had similar thoughts back when I was a small, giant headed teenager, and I figured out that, Best Girl Vivian from Thousand Year Door and, like, pretty much
Was
every.
originally a male.
Yeah, like, like, canonically trans character in every version except America because it was 2004 America, and I'm like, looking back now,
Yeah,
I get it.
Vivian actually got changed in localization because of that. Like Japan has actually never really had so much of an issue with like for Japan stuff like cross dressing and not they're very fluid when it comes to gender, which is pretty cool. Like they have
Mm-hmm.
some serious issues with the gay, but they've always been very open-minded about gender fluidity, which is
Mm-hmm.
great. Like up until like in the Edo period, there was even considered to be three genders. Like you went through stages in life where you were gay when you were, if you were a man, you were gay when you were younger, bisexual when you were a little bit older, and straight when you were like ready to settle down and have a family. Which why can't we just go? Let's go back to that. Why can't we have that?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of several dozen reasons why I like, the Borderlands series, because as it's gone on, it's gone like quite a bit. Like, I mean, quite a bit. Just imagine, just picture, and like almost every like pride flag now put the word disaster in front of it, and that's the kind of representation you get in, like, just in Borderlands. Because like Maya the siren, it's confirmed that she was asexual, but like, again, because it's Borderlands, every single person, every single character is like, a disaster of a human being. Like, you'd be like, it's just it's great representation, and it's also hilarious because everyone's just super casual about murder or like all of the grievous injuries they've suffered on the job.
Yeah, I think that Western studios are getting really good at opening up the door for representation a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Tracer's gay, and she's from a Blizzard game, which is a Western studio. And I will say this: Intelligent Systems, when they did Three Houses, they did give you some bisexual options, so to speak, which was nice. It's a step in the right direction. We need to do a little bit more. We need to push a little bit more, but we're getting there.
Mm-hmm. Uh, let's see, and like, what game you either have played on your stream or just like you haven't played that just what what is the game that people bring up when they're like, "Oh, Lily, this is gonna make you go all goblin mode."
Pizza Tower, probably. Like, it was one of those games that I played it because people recommended it. They told me it
Mm-hmm.
was very fun. And then it turned out to have a gimmick that absolutely murders me. I actually have this thing where when there is a timer and I have to, like, I don't like limits, and I don't like being chased in video games. It
Mm-hmm.
makes me anxious. And Pizza Tower just kind of fucking took that and turned the volume up to 11. But I think it's to date one of my most memorable set of YouTube videos and streams because it was incredibly chaotic. In a good way. It was a lot of screaming.
Mm-hmm. And like, what game, if any, would you say either like recently, since you started streaming, either on screen or off screen, has there ever been a game that you're just like, damn it, I said I wasn't gonna cry, but I'm doing it anyway?
I don't really know because most of the games that I play on stream, I make a very conscious decision to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say though that there's a game that I end up streaming that I said I didn't know if I was gonna. It might be the Xenoblade series because I have a joke with my editor because he always brings it up. He loves the franchise, and while I do like the idea of playing Xenoblade, it's like 6 games and they're so long. So I'm like, I don't know if I would stream it, but I'm probably gonna end up doing it at some point.
Okay, and I mean, what sort of, I mean, provided any of my like 10 of subscriber is listening to this, or just anyone who's interested in streaming, what sort of advice would you give to someone who's like interested in like dipping their toe in like the streaming pool?
Oh, I do have some advice if you actually wanna get into streaming, and I don't know how useful this is, but I will say this: breaking out as a streamer, you guys, incredibly difficult, incredibly difficult. Like to have a stream where you have more than like 5 viewers, you're already in like the top 10% of Twitch. Like if you're like me, which you average like what 70 to 100 viewers, you're already pretty up there. So do not be discouraged if you start streaming and you feel like no one is watching you. Start streaming because you find it fun. Start streaming because you want to share your experiences or if you want to just uh, document them somewhere, but don't start streaming with the idea of I'm going to be an incredibly successful streamer, super popular, because it's so hard to break into this business. Twitch doesn't have an algorithm. Like, it basically just recommends people willy-nilly based on their view counts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the best thing you can do for yourself as a content creator is not focus on the numbers in general. So stream because you want to stream. and create because you feel like making something, you want to share something, not because you want to see big number, because that is a straight path to burnout.
From what I hear, that is very, very true.
It's very common as well. The amount of like smaller VTubers I've seen or around Twitter just complaining that they don't get views or that they're gonna stop streaming, it makes me sad because at the end of the day, the reason you should be streaming is because you want to enjoy an experience, not because you want success. Success is nice and all, but I feel like it's something that you can achieve if you're having fun with what you're doing, as opposed to actively seeking it out. Very few people actively seek out success and get it. Sometimes it just kind of falls in your lap.
Yeah, that sounds pretty true.
Which,
Uh,
yeah, it kind of sucks because it's a huge luck component. But what are you going to
mm-hmm.
do? Just try your best.
Yeah, I mean, you're here to hear first, and
I've
yeah,
been streaming for years. I've only made partner this year.
mm-hmm. I mean, I've been doing this for like, let's say almost. Oh gosh, I'm just now starting to realize how long I've been doing this. Think like I've been pumpkin copter casting for about like over 7 years now, and I'm just starting to like get out there in the larger scene. Well, actually,
Yeah.
not even close, but still.
But you're putting yourself out there and you're having fun doing it, and that's what matters.
Hmm. I mean, if I manage to have two of the people behind Super Meat Boy on my show and make them laugh within 5 seconds of the interview starting, I'm pretty sure I did at least one thing right.
You did. I mean, you did great. That game is fantastic.
Uh, oh gosh, I could feel. Pretty sure that'll give me like stress problems later in life. But anyway, and yeah, I think with that we can bring this particular Pumpkin Copter cast to a close. I would like to thank Lily of Kinkymation from joining me and telling
Thank you for having
everyone
me.
about what she's all about video game wise and being surprisingly good at, Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls, a game I'm determined to make a very popular thing in the future.
I mean, it's kind of easy to see why that's a game that you could even play in the first place. Some of the names can get confusing.
Yeah. Oh, and just like one last bonus one. Bell, Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls.
You Bell. Hmm. I think Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, you are very correct. Is
Nailed it.
I mean, let's say this is them right there, and
Yep, that's a Yu-Gi-Oh character.
yep. I mean, I could explain like their backstory and why they look like a dragon gargoyle thing, but in the time it would take for me to explain, you would probably if there was like a camera, it would cut to you at like a table with like one light over you with just like staring into a drink, wondering just how you got here. But yeah, I'd like to thank Lily for being on here, and yeah, so Lily, if there's anything you would like to shamelessly plug, you may do so now.
Well, yeah, sure. Like you guys can go follow me on YouTube and youtube.com/Kinkymation, or you can actually catch streams on Twitch, twitch.tv/Kinkymation as well. Um, I will say I do have a Twitter. I am an artist mostly, but if you're under 18, do not go in there. Do not go in there. There is lewd things. So yeah, twitter.com/Kinkymation if you're an adult. But yeah, shameless plug done.
Okay, and if any of you out there have enjoyed this, you can like and subscribe and hit the bell icon, which lets you know when stuff goes up because everyone loves extra steps,
Oh
YouTube.
god, the bell. Hit
Mm-hmm.
the bell, guys. Hit the bell. That's how you find out about everything. Just hit it, smack it, ring
Um,
it a few times.
when you're done following Lily on like the Twitters, and it's Twitter, not X. Um,
It's Twitter. Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. That thing is Twitter forever, forever. God, like not to be mean, but I am dead naming that website until the end of its days. I'm sorry. It's not X. It's Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bird. Little blue bird forever.
Yep. And so yeah, if you're still on there after everything that guy what has done to it, you
Oh
can.
God, I hope not. God, it's been a source of stress for a lot of us artists, especially all of us in the not safe for work scene. Because Jesus,
But yeah, like for the moment, you can find me there, like at tcorbin83, or just type in Big Debbie, and you'll find me.
hello, Big Debbie.
Yeah, Little Debbie's Badass Grandma. If you're familiar with extremely niche references to my brother, and me. Yeah, where I just post about this show, post about some of the artworks I've paid people to do, or just just tag or just like find random Pokemon pictures, like tag my friends and be like, hey, look, that's us, and they're like, damn it, that's right.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear like me when I'm slightly more coherent, you can go on your podcast platform of choice, where my friend Tom and I host Gotta Recap 'Em All, a podcast where we are slowly recapping every single episode of the
Oh, good
Pokemon
luck with
anime
that.
and all the movies. You might be thinking, including the one with the guns? Yeah, including the one with the guns. But some of you didn't even know that was a thing, but it is. Wanna laugh as, some vaguely Western guy just points a gun right at Ash's face? You can find it. Yeah, so if you want to hear that, and if any of you have any money, which is, having money is a rare thing nowadays, but if you do, you can go to patreon.com/ the Pumpkin Copter Cast. For as little as $1 a month, you can be entered into a tier where, you'll be allowed to submit questions I use in future episodes. And yeah, this has been the Pumpkin Copter Cast. I have been Tyler, and she has been Lily. And as I say at the end of every show, have a gourd day, everyone.